Hello! Welcome to some Eve Online. I just wanted to make more videos, I guess. You know, some people enjoyed watching them, so why not? That seems like fun. Yeah, this is Eve. I haven't played any Eve on this channel before. I actually play a lot of Eve. I believe I have... There you go. 771 hours total played in Eve, so I've played a fair bit of it. And I guess I'd go over something fairly basic. So this is Eve. That's my ship. In fact, I guess it's really hard to be basic in Eve, isn't it? Yeah, this is my ship. That's a simple thing. And this is a ship I'm currently going to be using because I need to scan something down. So this panel here shows me all the things that are going on in this particular system. I'm in the system 8-GE2P. And yes, that shows everything that's going on around the place. Now, all of these Blood Raider ports, Blood Hub, Blood Havens, they're not very important. They're just like sites with pirates in them, and I know exactly what they are. Yeah, they've just got a bunch of pirates, and they want to kill me, and I want to kill them, and I get money when I kill them. So that's what I do. But the thing that is concerning me a little bit is this cosmic signature. And of course, I don't know where it is. All these ones I can warp to, because I have a location for them, but this cosmic signature, I don't know where it is. So I want to scan that down, because it could be something really great. It could have some good loot in it. Yesterday I did a couple of signatures, and they ended up being data and relic sites, and I made, I don't know, maybe around 20-30 million from doing all of those. It took me a while, but you know, it was good to get them out of the area. Or it could be something dangerous like a wormhole, and you don't know who's going to come out of a wormhole. And because I'm going to be, you know, flying around with the carrier in this particular system, I really don't want to be in danger, so I'll grab the scan on here so I can either, you know, make sure I don't use my carrier, or I can close the wormhole by jumping some ships through it. Anyway, we'll get to that in a second, but first of all, I need to scan it. So the first thing to do is to launch my probes, which I've just reloaded. My probes have been fired. There they are, kind of scattered around me. And then I go to this screen, which is the solar system map, the probe scanning screen. And there's a lot of stuff going on. This green bubble is what I can scan nearby, and all of these blue bubbles are the range of each probe, and I want to have a bunch of overlap on my probe. So I've already actually started scanning this one down. So I just want to put the center of all my probes right on this signature so that I can scan it down. So I position it so it's in the middle of everything. I hit analyze down here. And the signature it's moved a little bit because it's getting more accurate on what its positioning is. So let's keep on scanning it down. Of course, if I want to scan it down with a finer resolution, I can reduce the size here. So now they're going to be closer together. It's going to be easier for it to find the right location. You just want to start off big, just in case it moves around a lot. Okay, it's a combat site, so that means I don't have to be worried. But let's do it anywhere, I guess. We'll finish scanning it down just for the sake of it. So I'll again reduce my size, get a little bit more accurate of a scan. As you can see now, you know, it used to be quite large, but now we're really pinpointing it down to this one location. It should not be very hard. It's only a scanning difficulty level 1. Oh, almost got it. We are 97.8% there. I think all I would have to do is maybe give it one more pass, reduce the size again, and that one should be scanned down. There we go. We've got it. So I can recall all my probes. I don't need them out anymore. I've scanned everything in this system, and now it is safe for me to continue fighting these pirates with my expensive ship. So let's go do that, actually. Let's dock up at the station, because this is my scanning ship. I don't want to be... This ship definitely cannot take some of the dangers that I will be throwing at it. And let's take a look at everything in my hangar so far. This isn't definitely all of my stuff. I have a lot more ships actually, they're just kind of scattered around in different stations. But what I want right now is my scrap heap. This is my pride and joy. It is my brand new Nidhogger. It's a carrier from the Minmatar Empire. So I'll undock with this, and we'll see it's a hell of a lot bigger compared to my Astero that I was just flying earlier. Yeah, he's a chunky boy. I think it's let's see, we can have a look. Yep, almost 2 kilometers long. So yeah, he's a chunky boy. He doesn't go very fast either, but he's very, very strong. So let's find one of these sites. So these are all the pirate sites again, in the probe scanner, and I want to be doing these havens. And I only want to, there's 2 different variations of haven. There's the gas haven and a rock haven. And there's a kind of sneaky way for you to tell which is which. Oh, I guess I can't. Wow, interesting. There's a sneaky way for you to tell which is which, and that's to stop the warp halfway. But I was already actually pointing in the exact right direction, so I just warped off immediately. So hopefully it is a rock haven, but gas havens are still completely doable for me. Interesting enough about the Nidhogger, it's kind of a bit of a strange name. Okay, it is a rock haven, but someone's already started it. Well, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, strange name for the Nidhogger. It's because it comes from Norse mythology. In fact, all of the ships from the Minmatar Empire, which is this one right here, it's kind of cluttered on my screen, I've got a lot of stuff, but almost all these ships have a theme. So there's either named after blades, so there's the scythe, and the stabber, and I'm pretty sure the bellicose is a blade as well, the rupture, which is something that happens when you are stabbed, the thrasher, yeah, breacher, burst, rifter, that kind of stuff. They're named after that, or they're named after Norse gods. So you got, this one is the Lif, the Ragnarok, which is not necessarily a god, the Fenrir, the Nagflar, Vargo, you know, that kind of stuff. Kind of cool. Munin. Hunin. You get the idea. But they're named after that. It's either that or they're named after storms like typhoon and hurricane and cyclone, etc., etc. So they're shooting us right now. It's really not too big of a deal. What we want to do, first of all, is activate our shielding modules to make sure that our ship is going to be safe. Then, the very, very first thing you always want to do is align to a safe space. Everyone needs a safe space. And right now my safe space is this Fortizar, which is a space station. So I always want my ship to be aligned, because if you see how long it's taking to align this right now, if there was someone who was attacking me, you know, if they came into the system and they were looking for me and they were looking to kill me, I wouldn't be able to react in time. They'd be able to warp onto me far sooner than I'd be able to turn around and speed up my ship and get ready to warp but not quite warp off yet. It would be awful. So you always want to make sure you're ready to jump into warp straight away, just in case something bad happens. And you always want to do this with a big ship like a carrier or a dreadnought or a titan, even battleships to an extent, because you just do not want to take that risk. And it's not worth taking at all. So now that we've got our shielding modules active and also our targeting modules, or our drone modules, I'm going to launch my fighters. I've got 3 fighters right now. They are squadrons of 9 fighters per squadron. So you can have a look at them. I'm being kind of lazy right now, not doing anything. You see they're all flying around, looking really cool. So that's how those are the ones that I control. Oi, stop hitting those. So now I will target up the enemies. I can do it by, I can drag select over them, or I can target them individually. Let's activate my targeting module to target them a little bit faster. And let's get the fighters on them. So the fighters control a little bit differently from everything else in this game. Each one has a couple of abilities, or each squadron has a few abilities. That's their primary attack, that's a speed boost, and that's a rocket salvo that I can fire to deal extra bursts of damage. The thing about fighters though is you always want to keep them moving. If they get a kill, then they will just sit still, and they will take shots from enemies, which is no bueno. So you always kind of have to be microing them and babying them and making sure they're not standing still in space dying. Stop doing that. So you can see those are the things in space. Obviously the red icons are enemy ships, the pirate ships. There's, you know, Corpus Fanatics and Corpus Popes, that's what they're called. And everything shows up over here in what's called the overview. The overview is the most important panel in Eve, because it lets you see what's around and lets you target things. So I can see that, you know, there's a star, there's the jump gate to the next system, there's all the enemies nearby, and there's a bunch of other sort of things. This is in my combat tab. If I went to my, you know, drone combat tab, there's no drones out, so there's nothing. The miscellaneous one also has some wrecks. I've got warp out so that I can see, you know, places to go just in case I need to get somewhere quick. Or I've got my travel tab, which is more designed for moving around rather than combat. So yeah, pretty good stuff. So everything that I'm targeting here is going to show up in my sort of targeting menu, and I can see how much health they've got and see what active things I've got on them. So you can see when I long press on that, I've got this kind of radial menu that I bring up, and I'm always telling my drones to orbit. That way they're orbiting on this, you know, this ring, this blue ring. I can show you a little bit easier. Oops. Yeah, they're orbiting at this blue ring, and they'll be able to, you know, dodge the incoming fire from these battleships. So again, let's keep on going. Let's just start clearing them out. Oh, this one's actually going all the way down here. Maybe a little bit inefficient of me, but whatever. They're just going to, yep, start that orbit. So you can see each ship has 3 health bars. I've got 3 health bars here. Those represent your shields, your armor, and your structure. Of course, if your structure gets to 0, then you are in for a bad time, because that's when you will die. But you can repair your shields, you can repair your armor, and you can repair your structure. So, you know, it kind of depends on what you want to be doing. Apologies, I think there's a train going to come past in a second. Yeah. So this particular carrier is what we call shield tanked. Because I haven't focused on my structure, I haven't focused on my armor, I focused on getting all of the health points I can in my shields. So that's the kind of idea. And it's what you'd call a passive tank. So I haven't got any things that repair my shields. My shields repair very, very slowly over time, but there's no sort of shield boosting modules that will, you know, give me a brief boost of shields. What I've done is called a buffer tank, which means I just have a lot of health. Too much health for things to really kill me. You can see I've got 173,000 shield points, which is definitely enough to tank any amount of these silly corpus popes. Alright, we've cleared all those out, and when we clear a whole wave, another one spawns. So let's lock them up again. Use my targeting module to do so a little bit faster. And we've got some engravers and some popes and a patriarch. The patriarchy. And again, pretty much more of the same. I hit the ships. You know, I select my fighters to attack them with their laser beams. They deal damage. And then I select them to orbit something before the previous thing dies, so that they don't have any time they're standing still. I actually had a little bit of a mistake earlier where I was messing around with these hotkeys to try and use my pulse cannons on the fighters, and I ended up lighting this sonaural beacon. Very bad time. I'll maybe explain Sinos some other time, but it was a poopy pants moment for sure. So I can see this is my local panel right here. Everyone who is in this system is going to show up in this panel. I've kind of got it half hidden by my other panels, which is the kind of way I like to have my all my menus set up. But I can see a list of everybody who's in the current system, and I really like that because it's always on the side and it keeps me safe. I can see this guy, Casper Ambiguous, has entered the system. He's got a purple icon next to him, which means he's in my fleet, which means he's in my alliance, which means he's not going to kill me. At least I'd hope so. But with that panel there, I'm always checking that, because if someone else warps in and they've got like a neutral icon next to them, or a red icon, or an orange icon, it means they could potentially be looking to kill me. In fact, they're very likely looking to kill me, because they shouldn't be here. So yeah, keep on going. Up the top here, I've got some intelligence channels. So as you can see, I'm part of those as well as a lot of other people. And those are where we put info. So, you know, if I was, let's say that Casper Ambiguous was actually an enemy, I'd drag him over into here. I'd say, oh, Casper Ambiguous, he's in 8-GEP2. And I'd put that in. And that will let all of my corp mates know, and all of my alliance know, that there's someone in that system. And actually, if I start up Vintel, which is another sort of extra program I use to be a little bit safer. Oh, it's going to be putting something on my screen here. Let's keep the drones moving so they don't die. Yeah, okay, so on Vintel, if you look at this, this is Vintel. So right now I'm in 8-GEP. These are all the systems that connect to it, so you know I can warp to ZAU, and then from ZAU I could go KL or KY or YF. It gets kind of complicated. This is kind of the area that we live in. But you know, if someone, this Vintel, this program, will actually listen for any sort of information coming from those intelligence channels. So if someone posts something up here, it will appear in here on the Intel channel, and it will read it, and it will say, ooh, 8-GE, that's dangerous, or that's okay. Like it'll relay this information to this map. So if I go, let's actually ask these guys. Can I say pocket status? So I've asked for a little status update, and hopefully they respond. Hopefully people aren't busy or away from their computer, and they'll respond, and I'll be able to give a demonstration of how Vintel works as I continue just killing more pirates. This is what I do. This is how I make my money. I just kill these pirates. Okay, it doesn't look like much is happening, so let me just do it myself. So I'll put my own system, 8-GE or 8-TAC-G, and I'll just say CLR, which is short for clear. And you can see on Vintel right now, it's colored it green because it's safe. And here it is. Here's the messages coming in from the top. It says, okay, 8-GE is clear. And the purple ring means that I'm in there, and yeah, the green means it's clear. If it's a red, it will mean there's an enemy or a neutral that's been spotted. And you can see how long ago it was cleared or, set as a threat. So that kind of means if the green is faded away, then maybe it's still clear, but also it's been a while since the last update. So there you go. There's little interesting information about that. I hope it's not going over anybody's head. I guess it is a little bit hard to describe Eve to someone who does not play any Eve, because there's a lot of different things that all go on at once, and you kind of all have to be aware of every single one of them. We'll just kill some more pirates. Make sure we keep the orbits going so that I don't lose any fighters, because currently, if we have a look in my fighter bay, I have no extra fighters. These are the only fighters. The fighters that are in space are the only ones I have. So if any of these die, and you can see they're getting a little bit damaged, 4% damaged, 2% damaged. Yeah, if any of them die, I'm not going to be able to replace them. I'm going to have to go buy some new ones. So it's going to be a pain. Alright. So again, just killing more, killing more enemies. Let's see when this one dies. Let's get them orbiting that one. And actually, if I show info on the target, it says the Corpus Patriarch, and they've got a bounty of 1.62 million ISK. So ISK is the currency. It stands for Interstellar Credits. But the game is actually made by a Icelandic company. And ISK is the name of their currency as well, but instead it's Icelandic krona. I think I've actually got some krona because I found it on the ground of a petrol station. And I thought, oh, that's interesting, I don't know that coin, and I picked it up and it was, yes, like 20 Icelandic krona. But obviously ISK, and Icelandic krona are not interchangeable. Well, they could be, but they're not. And it's interstellar credits, so every time I kill one of these guys, I get a certain amount of money added to my next bounty payout. And every 25 minutes, my bounty gets paid, and I get a chunk of money depending on how many enemy ships I have killed and how many, bounties I have cleared. It'll actually show up in my wallet right now. I'm a little bit poor at the moment. But there you go. So there you go. Blue Kishinuba got prizes for killing pirates in 8-TAC-GE. So that's my bounty payout. Of course, all the greens are things coming in, and all of the reds are things coming out. So I actually pay tax because I'm in a corporation. They take 15% of everything I earn, and that's to help the corporation keep on going. Because corporation is the thing that supplies this Fortizar that I dock in. They, everyone helps each other out. We give the corporation money so I can buy fuel, keep those stations running, put them up, warp bridges, extra ships, skill training books, ore, minerals, lots of important stuff. Alright, let's target these guys up again. Hit our targeting module another time. Targeting module just helps me target the enemies a lot faster. So that is always good. We'll set them to orbit. And we'll start blowing up some frigates. Oh, that was quick. Okay. So you do really have to be micromanaging your fighters. If you let them go for a second, then they will just run away and... Well, they won't run away, they'll stand completely still, and all of the heavy battleship guns from these Corpus Patriarchs and these Corpus Popes are going to absolutely shred them apart. And fighters are expensive. They're like 2 to 3 million each for the fighters that I'm using. So I definitely don't want to let them just die, because I only get 1 million per Patriarch or per Pope that I kill. So if I lose a whole squadron of fighters, I have to kill 9 of them to make up for it. But I'm having to kill 9 of them with less firepower because I'm down on fighters. So, not good. Not good. Not good to lose them. Gotta be safe. So I just take a drink. A little bit early in the morning. Voice, well, not in the morning at all. My voice is still a little bit groggy from the previous night. Wasn't doing anything the previous night. I just stayed up late because I didn't have to do anything today, which is why I'm recording an Eve video at 1:05 in the afternoon in my underwear. So let's keep on going. Patriarchs are going to be dying. When I'm doing this myself, it's a lot faster because I'm not taking any breaks or distractions or explaining anything. I'm just trying to burn through it as fast as I can, because in this game, time is money. You know, the more rats I can kill, or the more pirates I can kill. Sometimes they're called rats. Just the AI pirate ships are called rats. So the more rats I can kill in 25 minutes, the more bounty payout I'm going to get per 25 minutes. And obviously I want to be making lots of money, because money's good. And I want to be buying lots of cool expensive things, so I want to be making as much money as possible, and I'll be doing it as efficiently as I can, which means not taking time to explain Intel and panels and scanning and things like that. But we're doing okay. I've only got 1 more Pope left in this wave. Let's take him out. Working on it. And we've got him. Let's make sure they're doing something. And we got another wave. This is the second last wave. I know, because it's got the cruisers. The Corpum Revenant, the Corpum Priest, and the other Corpum Priest. These guys can be a little bit, painful. They drain your capacitor, which is bad against a lot of ships. A lot of ships do not like to have their capacitor drained. Capacitor is a thing that you use to fire your guns, to use your engines, to warp away, to use your shield. So having no capacitor is generally a death sentence. So these guys are going to be my primary targets. You always want to start off with the smallest ships first, and then work your way up to the biggest ships. Because bigger ships have a hard time targeting fighters, and smaller ships can target the fighters a lot easier. So I want to make sure that all the danger to my fighters is taken off of the grid first. That's what we'd call it, the grid. Everything that I can see on my overview is called the grid. So I want to make sure all of the small ships are off grid first, so that I can worry about the battleships later. And the battleships, sure, they can shoot me. I don't care. I have tons and tons and tons of shields, so they're never going to break me. And if they do even get close to breaking me, then all I have to do is hit the warp button, because I'm already aligned out. You can see I'm aligning to 8-TAC GE Commodus, which is the name of the space station. So all I have to do is hit dock or warp up the top here when I've got it selected, and I'll be out of there in a second. So I really don't have to be afraid of these Patriarchs. The only thing I have to be afraid for is losing money on fighters, because again, that's not a very efficient way to make money. if you're spending money to make money. So currently I haven't been using any of the micro warp drives or the rocket salvos. I could probably give a little salvo here. You can see it's going to do a ton of extra damage to that shield, to that ship. The downside to the rocket salvo is it's only like a one-time use, and it has charges, so it has 12 charges usually. I just use one, so it's down to 11. I'll use another again, so it'll be down to 10 charges. And you've got to kind of redock your fighters and refuel them to recharge those missile strikes. Also, they have very, very reduced effectiveness against very small targets. So those missile bombardments are only really good against the battleships that I'm going up against here. And the reason I haven't used my micro warp drives is because sure, it gives them speed, but also the downside to that is it increases the signature radius of the ship by a lot. Now, signature radius is maybe a little bit more of a complex mechanic in this game. Hold on, I'm getting a message. Hopefully it's not important. No, we're all good. Yeah, signature radius is an important part, so... Oh, hold on. There we go. I just got a payout. I just got 17 million. No, 20 million. But 3 million was taken away for tax. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so that's how much I just got. So now I'm at 66 million ISK. Not too bad. Yeah, so the signature radius is the kind of mechanic that allows small ships to be evasive to big ships. So if I have a look at my Nidhogger right now, and I have a look at its attributes, we can see my signature radius is huge. There we go, 13 kilometers. That's how big my ship appears on scanners. Yeah, that's quite large. If I have a look at this Corpus Fanatic, I can't actually see his sig radius. I'll have to do it in another way. I'll have a look at the ship tree, and let's take a small ship like this Rifter. I'll show info on that, and its signature radius is only 35 meters. So basically, the bigger the signature radius, the easier it is for enemy scanners to track you, and enemy guns to track you. So my ship has an extremely big signature radius. Every shot that the enemies take is going to be a hit. Because, you know, I'm basically the side of a barn door. I'm so huge, I'm hard to miss, I'm hardly moving fast at all. It's easy for their guns to track me. But the reason I'm constantly making my fighters orbit is because, you know, speed is one of those variables that changes how well enemies can track you. But signature radius is the other. And currently my fighters don't have a huge signature radius. Let's have a look. They have a 100 meter signature radius. Okay, so it's a little bit bigger than that frigate that we saw earlier, but they are a full squadron of 9 fighters, so it makes a little bit of sense. If I use the micro warp drive on my fighters, their signature radius will balloon out to huge proportions. So I don't want to do that because it's going to make them really easy to hit by the enemies. So the only reason I'd want to use that micro warp drive is when I'm bringing my fighters to or from me in a situation where they're not being shot at. So that's the whole point of that micro warp drive. And we can use some rocket salvos to help us clear out this last wave. This is the final wave of this particular site that I'm doing, and we actually got pretty lucky. We ended up getting a Dark Blood Harbinger. This is a special enemy. He doesn't always spawn. You have a chance to find one every time you do one of these sites. And the cool thing about him is that he is going to drop some special loot. He is going to drop a Dark Blood module. He's also a little bit harder to kill, so he gives about 9 times the bounty payout, which is pretty nice actually, considering that he's harder to kill by a small margin, but literally doesn't matter when I'm flying with a carrier. So as we are getting very close to finishing up, let's go to my other character, who I have sitting in that same Fortizar, and currently she is in a Noctis. The Noctis is a different ship. It's not a combat ship, it's meant for salvaging. So let me just jump between, make sure we're still keeping damage onto all of the enemies. Kind of go jump between, a little bit of loading time there, looks like. UMM. Okay. So here's my Noctis, and we want to go to the UMM Bloodhaven in just a second. So let's align there already, because the Noctis is a bit of a slow ship. We are about to finish things off. Set the orbit command on the final Pope, and then we've only got our Darkblood Harbinger left. Let's take a look at him. He's firing his lasers, but he's not doing so well. And there he goes. Our final target is our Darkblood Harbinger. He's pretty nasty. He's got different guns. A little bit stronger. But again, no match for me. We'll take him out easy peasy. Squeeze the lemon, as they say. Okay, great. That's all of the enemies dealt with. Let's go back to our other character. We can... Oh. Not initiate that warp because we've just cleared the site. Oh, silly me. Okay. Well, that's alright. We'll just warp to my other character. So, because we're in the same fleet, I can warp to member.
Warp drive active.
Alright, currently in a warp. This character I'm going to be sending back home in just a second, but let's recall our fighters. They're going to fly to me, but I would like them to speed up, so let's activate those micro warp drives. And they'll get a huge speed boost and come back even quicker. You can see here's my Nidhogger, and oh, my Noctis has landed. So here he is. Currently, it's a little bit too far away, so I'm actually going to have to warp. Let's say warp within 20 kilometers, just to get a little bit closer. Alright, my carrier has done its job. Let's warp you back to the Fortizar, just to be careful. So I'll warp within 0, just so I'm right outside. I haven't docked yet, but I'm right outside and getting shielded. And you can see, it didn't take any time for that to go forwards, because I was already completely ready to warp away. So that's a very, very important thing to do. You always want to be aligned out. Always, always, always. Otherwise you're in for a really bad time. Alright, I've brought my Noctis a little bit closer. We're going to go into my inventory and drop a mobile tractor unit, or an MTU. This MTU is going to... so you see all those white dots inside... inside each one of those is a wreck. So you can see there's like all these scraps floating in space. I don't want to walk around, fly around to every single one of those to salvage it. That sounds like a lot of work. So I'm going to launch this mobile tractor unit, and it's automatically going to suck in all of those wrecks to itself. It's going to loot all the wrecks. It's going to get all the drops. And bring them all into one central location, so I can come back in a couple minutes with my Noctis and salvage them all nice and quick. So let me just set that as a waypoint. I'll set it as a mobile tractor unit. And I can leave this guy to his own devices right now. I can walk back to the Fortizar with my Noctis because he doesn't have to be here for this. Well, this character doesn't have to be here. That mobile tractor unit has got about, I don't know, half an hour of work ahead of it. You know, grabbing all of those wrecks and pulling them in to that central location. And as long as nobody kills it, which is not likely, I'm just going to be able to come back. I've got this location saved, so I can come back to that mobile tractor unit anytime, and I'll be able to see what I get. As well as salvage a bunch of extra materials, which is going to, you know, help me make a little bit more money. Because this character is not good enough to fly a carrier. Definitely not. Alright, well, we'll get her to dock up in the station. And I guess we don't really need to see another clear for my Nidhogger, so I hope you enjoyed that. When I say I'm making money in games and making sick bank, that's what I'm actually doing. It seems like a boring thing because it is, but it doesn't take too much attention. So, you know, on my other screen, I can put on some Netflix, talk to other people, that kind of stuff. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this little video. Maybe I'll do some more EVE Online stuff in the future because it's pretty interesting. It's a really expansive, not expensive, it's a free game actually. It's a very expansive game with a ton of things to do, and I really enjoy it. So hope you enjoyed. I'm Blue, or Charlie, and I'll catch you later.